Hey everybody, this is Karen Smith. I'll be your instructor for this lesson. We're going to take a look at the basics of the coordinate plane. First, I want to remind you of a real number line. Remember the real number line? It is just a number line that extends to from negative infinity, I should say, to positive infinity. In other words, on the left arrow side, this goes towards negative numbers, infinity, right? And on the right side, in the positive zone, this goes on forever into positive infinity. And you don't always have to put the plus sign. You can just write infinity. And we'll know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, of course, the number line is centered at 0, right? And right here, I have it scaled in units, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or -1, -2, -3. Okay, so this is your basic number line, and we can call this number line x, right? X is 4, would be right here, right? X is -9. That would be there, right? Okay, so an interval between those two would be all the numbers, and this would include -9 and 4, but all numbers between -9 and 4 would be graphed in this manner, or a manner similar to this. So now we just kind of get the gist of the number line. Let's take a look at the coordinate plane. A coordinate plane is going to take two number lines, two real number lines. Now, this one, highlighted in yellow, would be similar to the one we just looked at, right? Okay, and we'll call it x as well, or x-axis. Okay, if I take another number line and I lay it over that original number line vertically, here I'll highlight this in green, and what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to call this one the y-axis, or it'll actually represent the y values that we're going to look at soon, okay? So we have our x-axis and our y-axis. So what we're going to do is have our two number lines intersect at a right angle, right? 90-degree angle. And they're going to intersect where each of these lines is equal to 0. Okay, dope. So let's take that a little further. Here in the center, where the two lines intersect and where both x and y equal to 0, we're going to call this the origin. You'll see soon that when you go to plot a point, you're going to start at the origin, right in the middle, and then from there you'll follow your coordinates. What is a coordinate, you say? Let's talk about that now. So on the rectangular coordinate system, we need a way to plot our points, and we need a method to follow a certain path in order to get our points on the plane. An ordered pair looks like this. We have what's called an x-coordinate, comma, and a y-coordinate in a set of parentheses separated by a comma. Once again, that's our x-coordinate first, and our y-coordinate second. If you forget which number is the x and which one's the y, just keep them in alphabetical order, right? X comes before y. This seems like a really good time to remind you that the horizontal axis will correspond with our x coordinates, right? And our vertical axis corresponds with our y coordinates. The x coordinate represents left to right movement. So left to right movement, depending upon if it's negative or positive. Remember, on the x-axis, your negatives are here on the left, positives are here on the right. The y-coordinate represents vertical movement or up and down movement. Remember, on that number line, your negative values are down and your positive values are upward. So keep that in mind, the directions of your negatives and positives, okay? Now let's take a look at what an ordered pair does. Let's say we're asked to plot the ordered pair 4, 2. Now, don't forget that 4 represents movement along the x-axis, and then the 2 represents your vertical movement. And we're going to go in that order, but we're going to start at the origin. Okay, so here's how this will go. We'll start here at the origin, 0, 0, right? And we're going to go 4 units to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. From there, okay, stop there. From there, we're going to go in a positive 2 direction, right? It's positive 2, so we'll go upwards, right? Even with the y-axis positive numbers, right? So we'll go 1, 2. And here's where we end up at the point 4, 2. We can even label this point 4, 2. Just like that. A pair of numbers in parentheses, okay? So let's take a look at another one. Let's plot the ordered pair -5, -3. So where do we start? That's right, at the origin, 0, 0. Starting from the origin, we're going to first look at our x-coordinate, -5. And that gives us our horizontal or left to right movement. So we want to go 5 units towards the negative numbers on the x-axis. So we'll start there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, -5, right? Stop there. And then the next coordinate, the y-coordinate, is -3. So we're going to go in the negative direction, or down 3. 1, 2, 3. So here's where we end up at the point -5, -3. And there I put a label on it so I can remember where I am. Now, I suggest labeling your points, especially in the beginning. Once you get a little better and neater with your graphing and your plotting of your points, it may be that you don't have to do this quite so much, but you will have to label your graphs. And we'll get into that later on. Let's go ahead and graph these 2 points, -3, 6, and 7, -4. If you want to pause the video and try this part on your own, plot these 2 points, and let's see where you end up. Hopefully you'll end up at the right point. Okay, don't forget to label them for now. To get to -3, 6, we will start at the origin, and we'll count -3, or 3 to the left, right? 1, 2, 3. From there, we go +6, right? Or up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to end up right there at the point -3, +6. Now, to get to 7, -4, again, we're going to start at the origin, right? And we'll move to the right 7 units, right? +7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then from there, we'll go in the -4 direction, which is down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I put labels there for 7, -4. And here you go. We plotted some points. Remember that your x-coordinate does represent your left to right movement, right? Okay, and your y-coordinate represents your up and down movement. One more quick thing with the basics of the rectangular coordinate system, or our coordinate plane. We're going to talk about quadrants. Now, remember, we had our 2 number lines. We have our horizontal line, our x-axis, and we had our vertical number line, our y-axis. You'll notice that these 2 number lines, like I said before, they intersect at a right angle. but they kind of make us 4 little areas of our coordinate plane. And we call those quadrants, okay? Now, we have the first quadrant. You'll note that in the first quadrant, the signs of the coordinates in an ordered pair are both positive. So you'll have a positive x and a positive y coordinate. In our second quadrant, you'll notice that our coordinates in the ordered pairs contained in this quadrant will have a negative x value and a positive y value. In the third quadrant, you'll notice the signs on our ordered pairs will all be negative, negative, right? Because we have to go left and down to get into the third quadrant. And finally, in our fourth quadrant, you'll notice that we had to move what? We had to go to the right and down, so positive and negative coordinates there. Positive x coordinate, negative y coordinate. You can kind of verify this with the points that we have plotted too. So take a look and notice those similarities. These are our quadrants. If you want to remember how to do this, we're going to go counterclockwise, and you always start with the positive quadrant, and that's always going to be the first quadrant. So first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. All right, last thing, let's plot these points, 4 points here. Let's start with 5, 5. Positive 5, positive 5. Again, start at the origin, right? For positive 5, we're going to move 5 to the right, x coordinate first. Stop there, and then positive 5 for the y coordinate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you have it. Now let's go ahead and plot our next example, negative 5, positive 5. From the origin, we're going to move negative 5 for x coordinate, so that is going to be 5 to the left. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left, and then positive 5 for the y coordinate. So we'll go up 5 for that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's that one. All right, our next point is going to be negative 5, 0. So let's start at the origin for that one too. And we'll take it first with our x coordinate, left to right. All right, so x coordinate's telling us negative 5, right? So 5 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Stop there. And now our y coordinate is telling us from there we should go 0. So we stop there. So this point will be on the axis. It is a point on the x-axis. And there's our label. Okay, finally, let's go ahead and plot 5, 0. Starting at the origin, we're going to move 5 to the right. Positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop there. And our y coordinate is telling us to go nowhere else. Okay, so we're again on the x-axis. Notice that when we have a y coordinate of 0, we end up on the x-axis. Let's change it up a little bit and plot 0, negative 5, and 0, 7 quickly. For 0, negative 5, my x-coordinate is telling me to go 0 left or right. So I'm going to stay right where I am at the origin. So for the y coordinate, it's telling me to go -5 direction, so down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's where I end up. Right there at the point 0, -5. All right, now this is really the last one. Let's plot the point 0, 7. Again, if I start at the origin, my x-coordinate is left to right movement. It's telling me to go nowhere left, nowhere right. So it's saying stay put. And then go to the y-coordinate. +7 means just to go up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's your point. Let's label it. And there you have it. Your rectangular coordinate system, or your coordinate plane, whatever you call it. Just don't forget the basics. Okay, we'll go to the next step in another video and learn how to read and look at equations of lines and other good little skills like that. Okay, you guys, if you have any questions, get in touch with me. I'm happy to answer your questions. Y'all have a great day.